Two, one. Hello everybody and welcome to our Tour of Oman preview. My name is Jesper, and I'm for the final time this evening joined by the Holy Moly. I needed to say that one last time, it's just so good. Two previews down so far. How well do you think we did? How close did we get to predicting the overall winner?
Oh, we've nailed it twice.
Exactly.
Our run so far this season, Jesper, has been nothing short of remarkable.
Yeah, for one of us.
The two of us.
See, okay, if we split it up, you say you predict the winners and I predict the outside guys, we've been pretty much 100%.
We've been nailing it every time. Easy.
And it's even for free, guys. Join Team Cycling Up right now. Subscribe below. Oh, in all fairness, guys. It's all good and fun and games. If you want to make actual money, can't even speak right now. Go follow David on Twitter. Follow Team Cycling Mall. Some pretty interesting digits of 2015 and 2016 so far. If you want to make some easy. But Tour of Oman
Unbeaten.
last year was a great race. Even though we couldn't really watch it because it's not live anywhere and we had to watch delayed highlights. Rafa Val's a sensation up the Green Mountain, which has the best name in cycling. I mean, there's not a better, like Alpe d'Huez, no. Tourmalet, no. Ventoux, no. We've got the Green Mountain.
Yeah, it's not even green.
No. On the profile it is though. You'll give them that.
What's that all about? It's called the Green Mountain. It's not green. That's
See, great.
Last year was great. Val's. I was on Van Garderen, just devastated that he was beaten. Val's' climb that day set the record up the Green Mountain faster than Froome the year before, who beat Van Garderen. Van Garderen was the bridesmaid yet again. The big lap stage, the Ministry of Housing stage, unfortunately was cancelled because of the extreme heat. It was too hot and the riders all gathered under an underpass. Pippo Pozzato was very unhappy. A lot of finger wagging happened and they had to call off the race. And then the organisers threatened that a number of teams would not be invited back. Kept their word. A lot of teams were not invited back. And we have a race which has got the best parcours it's ever had, but it has the worst start list it's ever had, which is a shame. However, they've still got some quality riders.
See, you know you always give me a challenge, or you give me a hard time when I can't pronounce names of stuff? Try pronouncing the name, or the alternative name for the Green Mountain. I'll give you some time to find it, but I can just tell you it's not as easy as the Green Mountain, because I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. And it's not French.
Ready?
Go for it.
Jamal Al-Hakda.
I'll give you a 9 out of 10. I'll give you a solid 9 out of 10. See, I'm looking at that Akdar and like, how do you even pronounce that?
I'm a linguist, man. What can I say?
Oh, yeah. Good thing you're not a ventriloquist. That would be 2 Davids? No, thank God. Too much for the world. Great race though. I mean, you talked about the start list still being quite good. I mean, you got defending Tour de France champion, Nibali. You got Bardet, a future champion. So, but not defending champion, but previous champion of the Tour de France, which is still a fluke in my opinion. Nibali was the strongest that year, but if Contador and Froome was there, he would not have won.
It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. Let's not mention that we have a rider here who's won all the Grand Tours. So
fair point. Nibali is still a strong rider, just not that year. Moving on though, Bardet, future rider who could do well. Let's take a look first. Nibali, talking about him, he's very hit or miss this early in the season. What do you think? Will he be hit or will he be miss?
Hit.
I like it.
I'm being bold, I'm being brave. Imagine a Nibali in form in February. The world would shake. Yeah, I think he's on form. I have a sneaky feeling he's focused on the Giro, which means we can't have this lazy start to the season where he just rolls around and comes off the back of the peloton. He has to hit it hard. In San Luis, the first mountain stage was not great. The second mountain stage was much better. He set tempo up that climb for a long way. We know because he told us, not because of the camera footage. He was strong that day. He's been away at Mount Teide. We know what that means. He's going to be flying.
See, if this was blackjack, I think you'd be hitting 21 because I agree with you. Nibali is looking fit right now. As long as the Astana team car stays away, I think he's going to win this race in the end. It's early to say, but I mean, he could be beaten by some of the other guys here. But It's worth mentioning, if Nibali is not on form, Jacob Fulsang did well here last year. I think he finished top 10 in the end. He could take over captaincy if Nibali doesn't show up.
He could do. He's always there. He's always ready. He usually rides with Nibali, so we're used to him taking over team leadership when Nibali falters.
Also, looking at the team, Grivkov coming off a strong the Mediterranean. Did he win the overall? I know he won the last stage.
He did. No, he didn't win the last stage. Bakalan's won the last stage. Grifko won overall.
That's what it was, and he won the third stage. So,
Yeah.
I mean, strong SNS start to the season. Look at this team.
It's a strong start. And, I was mentioned it earlier, the Parcos here are the best we've ever had in this race. It's usually a mixture of sprint stages, followed by Green Mountain, followed by Ministry of Housing lap stage, which is a very tough, demanding stage. They've really mixed it up. Last season, they introduced the stage where they had a really short, sharp climb, Al Jazaa, 2.5 kilometres, 8% just before the finish. Downhill, crazy finish where a group of 19 riders got away. Cancellara won the sprint. That stage has been retained, and it's the stage that's happening tomorrow. So great start to the race, which will suit the puncheurs. Stage 2 is a new stage which finishes with a 2.8 kilometre climb at 6.5%, so a second hilltop finish, which is excellent. Stage 3 is a sprint. Stage 4 is the Green Mountain, which has been lengthened by about 1.5 kilometres, 2 kilometres. It's now a jaw-dropping 7.5k at 10.7%. Then we've got the Ministry of Housing stage on stage 5, which features the very hard climb of Bushehr Al Amarat. And then we have a sprint on stage 6. So it's a very, very demanding race. Good news for most of the riders is that it's not as hot as it has been in previous years. We might even get a little bit of rain, which suits these European riders down to the ground. The days are coming to the Green Mountain and it's 40 degrees. It's really, really hard. So yeah, the European riders will be delighted that the temperatures are normal.
Was it last year where all the wheels were melting and like the bikes were coming apart, and
Yeah.
Eddie Merckx was throwing a fit saying, "You have to ride, you have to get out there. You see the wind, it's not even bad. My car can still drive, but you can't." I mean, this race is nuts. If you think Qatar was windy, I'm looking forward to this race.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it doesn't usually go through the desert, so the wind isn't a problem. Extreme heat's a problem, but luckily this season it's going to be a bit cooler, so the riders are all quite happy about that.
It's a good thing Richie Porte is known to ride in the heat because he's from Australia. Him being here means that he's going to do well, I think. Because Richie Porte doesn't do anything half-arsed.
Well, he's from Australia, so you would think that he likes the heat. Unfortunately, he's from a little island called Tasmania, which is just underneath it, which is similar to Scotland in terms of its liking of the rain. So heat-wise, he's not a huge actual fan of the heat. So the fact that the temperature will be a little bit lower here, which is perfect for him. Richie arrives, leader of BMC, has a massive point to prove. He still tells people he's co-leader for the Tour de France. I think they've told Richie a couple of porcupines and he's believed them. No way he's co-leader for Tour. However, if he wants to be co-leader, he has to win some of the preparation races, and that starts right here. Didn't win the Tour Down Under, did win the Wollongong stage, didn't win his time trial championships, beaten by Rowan Dennis. So Port has to start delivering. He arrives with a very strong team, but that very strong team is built around Greg Van Avermaet and winning stages for him and getting him ready for the Spring Classics. Port will be by himself for the vast majority of the Green Mountain climb. So, boy, he's going to have some good form if he's going to win this race.
But isn't he used to being somewhat alone? Even though he's coming from Sky, he's never really had that much help when he's been the captain.
Yeah, and as I've said, we've got pools the other day in Spain. Sometimes being alone isn't a problem if you are head and shoulders the strongest rider. So Port starts as the bookies' favourite, a very strong bookies' favourite as well. They really fancy his chances of winning here. I'm surprised by that. I know the Green Mountain stage is a big, tough mountain stage, which he will like, but stage 1 is not great for him. The lap circuit for the Ministry of Housing is not great for him either. He's going to lose some bonus seconds time, I think, to some of the other challengers. Nibali, he will really like those two stages I've mentioned. But that's all very good. If you go and lose a minute on the Green Mountain, then it's all over. So you've got to be competitive across those three big stages. So stage one, right at the start, that's a big moment for this race. If you're going to finish, say, 30 seconds down, game over for you. So a lot of the riders will be nervous going into tomorrow's stage.
See, bonus seconds is actually a thing that's being discussed right now, whether it should be removed. Because if you look at Tour Down Under, I think now would actually have won it in the end if it hadn't been for bonus seconds. If you look at Qatar, it would have been a different GC if it hadn't been for bonus seconds. Are you a fan of bonus seconds on the line?
Love bonus seconds.
Explain the thought process behind that.
Makes for more exciting racing. You've got teams who will want to chase down the break. They've got teams who really want to set their rider up for a victory to gain that bonus seconds. For me, it just makes for a more exciting race. If there's no bonus seconds involved, I know sometimes teams will chase the break away down so they can win a stage, but the incentive is not as much if you get a stage and 10 bonus seconds. I know it favours riders who can sprint well, but you've just got to be good tactically and try and stop teams from doing that. But I'm a big fan of bonus seconds. I think it makes the races much more interesting.
It makes sense, but there was also a period where the Tour was, let's say, experimenting with bonus seconds, where they had it out for a year, then they added it again. I think right now it's in, right? Bonus seconds in the Tour on some of the stages. So, I mean, I personally, I don't really have that much of an opinion on bonus seconds. In the end, like, whoever wins is the guy who does the best on time. If the rules say you have to have bonus seconds in there, then that's how you ride the race. It's kind of like you say, it's about the right strategy. You have to ride the way that the rules allow you to ride. Take advantage of that. I mean, there's no excuses in bonus seconds. I mean, the strongest guy, the smartest guy will win. Looking further down the start list, I mentioned Romain Bardet. AG2R brings a two-pronged attack with Bardet and Pozzovivo. Which rider would they go for?
Pozzovivo.
Really?
Yeah, I would say Pozzovivo. He's targeting the Giro. His form should be good. He's been here before. Green Mountain, he's finished 12th and then 6th. If you follow that progression, he's going to win. So I think the little man is going to have a good race. He will probably be happy that the temperature is going to be down a little bit. Bardet, he did GP Marseille, but this is his first big race of the season. As I said, targeting the Tour, his form will be a little bit behind Pozzovivo's. Don't get me wrong, he's an extremely strong rider, and the stages on stage 1 and stage 5 will really suit him well. So I think he will do well in a couple of stages. He could potentially win a stage, but the Green Mountain stage for me, Pozzovivo will climb better.
We've so far mentioned progression only once before in the show, and that was St. Louis, where every other year it'd be a World Tour team that won the oval jersey. Guess who won it this year? Dia Quintana of Movistar. So if you follow that thought, of course Pozzovivo would win the overall here, right? 100% hit rate? No, in my mind, I actually thought Bardet would be their main guy, because if you look behind or look further than the Green Mountain stage, the other stages suit Bardet better than Pozzovivo. Like, he can descend like no other. We've all seen that before. There was the Pralou stage from the Dauphiné and from the Tour de France. This guy is a maniac on a descent. And I think there are several stages here that suit him near the finish.
I think I wasn't the only person that day who watched the stage like this.
Yeah.
It was just insane. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Pozzovivo cannot sprint to save himself. So, the stages on 1 and 2 and 5, he will lose time because others will get bonus seconds and he won't. However, the difference he will make up on the Green Mountain will make up for that. Remember, 7.5 kilometres at 10.7%. We're talking huge gaps that day. Huge.
I mean, from what I can remember watching the highlights, the finish camera, like, it goes right down. You see right down the mountain. It's really, really steep towards the end. Also, which the surprise is that Van Garderen got beat on the Green Mountain last year. But you're going to hear the word Green Mountain a lot in this following week. It's going to be everybody following your man is going to be saying, oh, it's Green Mountain time, this and this day, and it's all the build-up. I feel people kind of miss the other stages. Because look at stage 1, for example, it reminds me kind of the Mallorca, the stage profile.
Listen, they've really stepped up this year. Stage 1 we saw last year, it was a dynamite stage. It blew everything to pieces. Only 19 riders made it over in the front group. There's 2 challenging climbs towards the end. It's still within the realms of possibility that a Christoph could survive those climbs. It's one of those ones where anything could happen. It depends on how attacking the riders are. Stage 2 is perfect for the Poncheurs, 2.8k, 6.5%. Stage 3 is a sprint stage, and whoa, we've got a lot of sprinters here. A lot of sprinters. So you're right, the other stages are very, very good. Green Mountain can be boring at times. It's not my type of climb. It's a big, wide highway. The year Perito, I think, won the stage, he was almost took everybody by surprise. They were so far over, and he attacked him while it was like the third lane of the road, and nobody saw him. So, it's a great climb and that is very difficult, but I just don't like the road it's on. It makes it a bit boring for me.
Well, you mentioned Christoph already. I was gonna get ready to make the segment over to him. Looking at Katusha coming off a strong Qatar, I am really, really impressed by his entire team, first of all, but Dimitri Kuzanchuk. Yeah.
Kuzanchuk.
Tough to pronounce, but his lead out was so good together with Guarneri in Qatar. This guy, nuts. Again, so much respect after watching Qatar. How many stage wins could Christoph win here, realistically?
2.
Which stages would that be?
3 and 6.
So the pure flat sprints.
Nothing's pure flat. Well, three's got a weird profile. It kind of just goes up and then down like that, gentle. 6 has some steep climbs in it, but Christoph, the man won Flanders, short and steep, doesn't really bother him too much. You're right to praise their lead-out train. It is amazing. I did laugh when I read the start list. Christoph, Bystrom, Garnieri, Hala, Kojetkov, Kuzanchuk, Morkov, Vandenbroek.
The new addition to the team, even.
Vandenbroek must be looking at that going, so am I a lead-out man? What is the story? Vandenbroek will be very interesting to see how he goes. New team, new motivation, no help at all in the mountain. So he'll just be by himself. But wonderful lead-out train. Huge favourite to win 2 sprint stages, if you ask me. Huge. It was so good in Qatar. The team really stepped it up. Beat Cavendish, something he hadn't done before. Cavendish now seems to be in his back pocket. Goes on to this race. He is the best sprinter by a distance. We do have some other quality riders here. We've got Andrea Gardini. We have Sam Bennett. We've also got Roy Jans, who was going very well. Edvard Bosenhagen. Who else? Moreno Hofland. Capio of Top Sport Flanderen. Yeah, so fewer sprinters than we had in Qatar because it's a more mountainous course, but still we should be looking for Christoph and Bennett to be fighting it out for the 2 stage wins.
See, you weren't really right on your promise that Bennett would get 1 stage win in Qatar.
I wasn't right, no.
I was really hoping that final day would come, the wish would be fulfilled, and Bennett would be on the top of the podium, but...
Because he didn't have the mullet. The mullet wasn't there. The mullet was getting kilometres in the legs. He wasn't part of the lead-out train. If Bennett's going to beat a rider like Christoph, he needs Shane Archibald to lead him out.
Good thing he's got him here.
Selig was very, very impressive. He looked already to be at a very high level of performance. A great addition to the team. Dempster is not coming here from Qatar. He's one of the riders who misses out. Dempster was also incredibly impressive. Spoke to Shane the other day. He doesn't fully expect himself to feature in both sprint finishes, but he is hopeful of at least being part of one of them. So we'll see what happens. But I think if Bennett's going to beat Christoph, he needs Archibald to lead them out.
On the topic of Bor Argon, when you see the German national jersey, no, it's not Greipel, it's Emmanuel Buchmann, the rising star on Bor Argon. Just realistically, how well could he do here? Like, I know it's a tough task, the Green Mountain, but that German jersey is going to raise a lot of suspicion.
I just don't think he's the best climber. Reading the reports, they've got 4 climbers, and basically it's last man standing. Just no real team orders. Go for it yourself, boys. So we've got Buchmann, we've got Patrick Conrad, who finished in the top 10 here last year. We've got Dominic Nertz as well. So, I know Moberger's there, but realistically 3 riders who are going to challenge each other. Nertz, I was very impressed with. He used to ride with BMC. Really had a poor season for them last year as he moved across. if he wants to justify his contract, he needs to step it up this season. But Conrad, if you look at last season, was very strong.
Before we move on, a finishing touch on Vandenbroek. If you look at the Twitter activity from 2015 on Lotus Sudal, and you look at the first part of 2016 at Team Katushi, you'll see how he's been, oh, I'm at the gym, oh, I'm getting ready, look at my new jersey. He's been very motivated, and I think he's going to try his best. He might not be at the peak form yet, and I think he's turned into more of a time trialist, but I think he's still going to try here. I really hope he's going to do well. He needs, like, from the guy finishing third in the Tour de France to becoming not a nobody, but kind of like just disappeared from the scene, he could use a good result.
Yeah, he's not drifted as much as, say, Andy Schleck did, but it's kind of going that way. It's kind of scraping top tens. Maybe lost his motivation a bit riding for Lotto. He'd been there for a long time. A change does do well for some riders. It's not for everybody, but sometimes that change of environment, once you get too cozy with the team management, sometimes it's hard for you to take criticism particularly well. It's hard for the team management to give you criticism particularly well. So sometimes moving to a new team is good because the directors are not scared to tell you to get the finger out and do better. And I think Vandenbroek needs that. He needs basically the kick up the backside, get out, do the hard work, do the training. He still has the talent and the potential to be a challenger for races like this. So, like you, I would hope he does well here.
The next three guys on my start list got my mouth just, oh, it's getting juicy because we're talking about Dan Martin, Eduardo Sepulveda, and Tom Dumoulin. I mean, Tom Dumoulin, the sensation of Vuelta a España, we're still talking about him today. I mean, that was the ride of the season for me last year with Tom Dumoulin. Sepulveda, coming off a strong St. Louis, I spoke to him the other day, one of the few guys I have contact with. He's hoping that he can ride well here. He wants an overall team performance. It's not only for him, but also for the few sprinters they're bringing. And Ethics Quickstep, I mean, Dan Martin, we already mentioned him earlier today. Dan Martin has got potential to win this overall if it wasn't for the Green Mountain.
If it wasn't for the Green Mountain.
I
Yeah, I would agree. That looks like being his Achilles heel. I think it looks too hard for him. But definite chance of winning a stage.
See, last year they did cancel a stage. What if that day it was really, 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 really warm and they cancelled the Green Mountain?
I've checked the weather forecast. We're okay.
See, we checked the weather forecast for Qatar and it said no, almost no wind. See how that turned out.
Yeah, but remember what I said in the previous show as well. It's not all about the strength of the wind, it's about the direction of the wind. So some of those days the wind wasn't that much, but the direction was perfect for some echelons.
It was. Ethics though, Dan Martin, Brent Billa, I mean, you already got the win earlier. You all remember seeing the fisticuffs on social media. Bob Jungels, a great time trialist. Meersman, a previous stage winner here. Jin Vandenberg, I mean, we've all seen that. So, very good. How do you like their overall team strength?
Looking strong. Vandenberg, Van Kiersbroek here to get some good kilometres in the leg before the Spring Classics. Martin, Brambilla, Jungels can all compete for multiple stages. Meersman, doubtful that he'll outsprint anybody. I don't think he still hasn't had a sprint yet this season. Wasn't sprinting in Mallorca, that was Trentin. Wasn't sprinting in Valenciana, that was Bonin. Is Gianni a sprinter anymore? I don't know, maybe they can tell us. I think he wants to try and turn himself into more of a fast man climber these days, but we'll see how he goes. Ethics are looking good. Dan Martin has to be a big favourite to win a stage.
Definitely. Sepulveda and his team, I mean, you got, as Greg Henderson described him, the Flash, and Boris Valle, a fast sprinter, Steven Trenair, the French champion, Rutarovich. He's good at winning these smaller sprints. I wouldn't exactly call Christoph here as a smaller sprinter, but they got a strong team.
Final stage at Qatar, I think he was fourth behind Jan, so he blows hot and cold, mostly cold, but sometimes he can turn it on. Sepulveda, a strong chance of a top 10 here. Should really be targeting a top 10.
See, this is another one of those Ilnur Sakharine moments. We just want to put him as your dark horse or super joker, but you just can't. It's Sepulveda. He's a quality rider, not quite, let's say, Conde quality super joker. He's not down there in the 50th of names on your super list, so...
And Dumoulin will not be contending for the overall.
Not at all?
No.
See, what is he's targeting what this year?
Rio time trial.
So that's a while from now, right?
Yeah, he's doing the Giro, but everything's about gold medal at the Olympics.
So a race like this, if you're this early in form, it's going to be tough to contain that form.
He said he had a good January, but had a bad February. So
Okay. Looking further down the list, though, Søren Craig Anderson, the super joker of Qatar. If Palini didn't crash that day, like that, we had was it stage two? They had that horrific crash. Stage two or stage three, where they had a
stage two.
it was a really bad crash, and it really affected Søren Craig, which is a shame because he was looking really in form. Whoever organized that stage should be just fired on the spot because that finish was horrendous. Excited to see what he can do here in a sprint. He's not the fastest guy, but I'd like to see him built on that form from Qatar.
Yeah, was good there considering they had a small team and they've got a small team here, and that's understandable considering the crash that they had in Spain. So yeah, be interesting to see how he goes, especially on the stages that I've got the climbs, like stage one. If he's going well, if he's got good legs, he could make it over with that select group, and if he does, then he would be one of the fastest there. So if he's going to win a stage, for me, it has to come from a select group sprint.
I think one of the final touches we'll do before we move on to the star selection, dimension data, or data, as I was hated on. That one episode I said data just to mimic Phil Liggett. I was hated on so badly afterwards. I regret doing that. I mean, the comment sections just ripped me apart. Why does he say data? It's not fun. He's not Phil Liggett. He doesn't have the credibility to do that. Sorry, guys. Sorry for trying to be somewhat funny. But dimension data, Bosenhagen, strong, off Qatar. I'm looking though at Mahari Kudos as the wild horse. How much you know about this Eritrean rider?
Eritrean.
Rider. Somebody in the chat wanted to make a compilation of all the times I've mispronounced riders. That compilation would probably be 30 minutes long. But hey guys, at least I'm trying.
Super talented youngster, 22 years old. Very good climber. For me, not the rider who will finish highest up for them this week. They have two. They've got Jacques Janse van Rensburg, who was fifth here last season, which was a massive surprise for me and for most people. And we have Serge Pauls, one of the surprises of the Tour de France, who eventually finished 13th, which was a very, very credible result for him. So I would think those two riders would be there. They've also got Bosenhagen for the tough days. They've got Haas for the tough days. They've got Farah for the tough days. They'll be expecting to do something. Take a stage win with Bosenhagen. There are a couple of stages that certainly suit him.
He'll be hungry after that unlucky turn of events in Qatar where he had a double puncture in the final 10 kilometers. That's gotta leave a sour taste in your mouth.
That is cycling, but he was the strongest rider.
He was. I mean, in the end, it was Dimension Data still won with Cavendish, but that's gotta sting if you're ever Bosenhagen. Those chances don't come that often. So, it sucks. Final touches. I mean, I see Lotto NL there. Is there anyone you want to point out? I see quality riders.
Sprinter-wise, Hofland. GC-wise, Bennett. Hofland does have the speed to contend in the sprints. There are fewer sprinters here than Qatar, so not as much of a job getting Hofland positioned. And if he is positioned in the top two riders when the sprint opens up, he has a very good chance of winning a stage. He is super fast. And then looking further down the list, David Rebellin.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well.
Mr. 44 years old, CCC, Polsat.
He doesn't go away, does he?
No, he's just always there. And let's remember, in Dubai, he was 9th overall. He was the second top finisher who wasn't a sprinter. Gorka Izagiri was, say, 5th. Rebellin was 9th. So out of all the climbers who were there, Rebellin was the second best. Rebellin will go well this week.
Of course, he always does. It was, remember Turkey? He would have won that last year if he hadn't crashed in the finish as well. A teammate of Rebellin, Ponzi, I know you mentioned him earlier, or at least previous this year. How do you see his chances here?
Yeah, not sure. He is a fast man. He does like a tough stage. He likes an uphill sprint. He will be looking towards, I think stage 1 is going to be too hard for him. Stage 2 is going to be too hard for him. Then we're looking at stages 3 and 6, and to be honest, they've got Gregor Stepanek, who is a faster rider than him, so I'm not too sure Simone Ponzi will actually get any action this week.
So are you satisfied with our rundown of the start list and ready to move on to the stars?
Ready to go.
Let's move on to the star section. Third and final star section of the evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's go. Tour of Oman stars. For me, with 1 stars, you gotta have Brambilla on there. I mean, this form he's got from the Mallorca races, I feel that if he brings that, he could finish top 10 here, top 5. He's a decent climber. What was it? Is it the Giro where he actually won a stage? Or was it the Vuelta? It was one of those races where he won an uphill climb. I mean, this guy can actually climb. You might not believe in that, but just wait and see what he's going to do. Got Pozzovivo, and I've got Mahari Kudos. He could be replaced with Sergio Powell, so see your reasoning there. But he did well last year, and I think he'll build on that to do even better this year. He's a brilliant climber, or
Okay.
prospect.
1 star, I've got Sepulveda, Dan Martin, Roman Bardet.
If Dan Martin that far down, I'm just looking at my list right now. I know Green Mountain is tough, but is it really that tough?
Yeah.
Or Dan Martin?
Should still finish top 10, but he will lose over a minute on the Green Mountain.
Who is the rider other than Sepulveda? The final rider, you might.
Bardet.
Bardet. I like that pick. I mean, the Green Mountain should suit him, right?
This early in the season, I seriously doubt it.
Okay. See, on my list right now, I see you have 1 stars, Jesse Surgeon, Louis Wester, Mike Turnison. I can tell you Mike Turnison will not win this race.
Good chance.
2 stars, Eduardo Sepulveda. He's got to be up there, friend of the show. Last time I had him at 2 stars, he finished... he finished second in St. Louis. Great rider. Really hope he can build on that. Got Rui Costa. I mean, we haven't really mentioned him at Lampre. He's actually a rider we jumped over. But he did fine last year. He finished 6th, a minute down on the Green Mountain last year. He's got something to prove. He hasn't been doing the best of late. And a good result here is possible. I really hope he's going to turn up on the Green Mountain. And then, last but not least, in case Tom Dumoulin is on form and has the Vuelta, say, shape in the legs, he could do well. I mean, it's stars, it's a bit reaching, but I think he could do well.
I have Rebellin, Costa, Vandenbroek.
Oh, Jurgen Vandenbroek, I like that one. Go through the thought process of picking those 3 guys. I should start.
Rebellin, he's just always good. He loves very steep climbs, loves them. So all these stages he should be fairly consistent on. Rui Costa, as you've mentioned, targeting 1 week stage races after kind of giving up on the Grand Tours because they're too hard for him. Have my doubts about the Green Mountain stage for him as well, but should do well on the other stages. Vandenbroek, new team, new motivation, could surprise.
Good surprise. 2 stars, I actually like it. Let's all go out there, and if you're a fan of David's cycling game where you have to send motivational tweets, let's just today all band together and let's send Jürgen Vandenbroek a motivational tweet. He's on social media so much, I guarantee you he will like your tweet and retweet your tweet at least, maybe just 1 or 2 of them if you actually send him a motivational tweet. So let's revolutionize today and send Jürgen Vandenbroek a nice tweet. At 3 stars, you've already mentioned him at a 1 star, Dan Martin. He could, in theory, gain so much time on the other stages that he can maybe only lose like 30 to 45 seconds on the Green Mountain and still win. It's gonna be tough, but it is Oman, it's extreme conditions. He even said himself that the Green Mountain is unrealistic. But if the Dan Martin that won Valencia stage shows up here, he's gonna do just fine. And then the last 2, Port and Nibali.
Port, Nibali, Pozzovivo.
First time this evening that we do not agree on 3 stars.
Pozzovivo because he is an Italian economist, pianist, the best combination you can ever have for a cyclist. Absolutely love the little man. Weather conditions are much in his favour this week if it's a little bit cooler. He has the size to fly up that Green Mountain. You know, you don't want to be big, tall rider on that. You want to be a bit smaller. So I know he's going to not sprint away for successes in the other stages like some of the others, but I think Pozzovivo has a good chance if Nibali and Port get involved and a little bit of looking at each other.
Nibali and Port, realistically, are the 2 strongest climbers in this race, and I just think they have to be at 3 stars no matter what their form is.
Yeah,
Out
let's not beat about the bush here, right? So they are the best two climbers, but in all realism, Vincenzo Nibali is miles better than Richie Porte. It's not even close. We've got a rider who can barely hold it together for 3 weeks against a rider who has won all three Grand Tours. That's not close. It's nowhere near close. So if Nibali is here and he is Grand Tour form, Nibali wins by a mile.
Is he Grand Tour form?
But that's the magic question with Vincenzo Nibali. Is he in form? He's been on Mount TD. I'll say he's in form.
See, if I had a deck of playing cards near me, we'd do a quick game with 21, and we see if he hit 21, he'd be in form, and if he hit over or under, he'd be out of form. That's how the odds are with Vincenzo Nibali. Let's move on to a prediction though. You said earlier that he's hit. You say that he's gonna win.
Yeah, Nibali for me. I know the bookies say Port. Port's the safe choice. I'm never safe.
See, I have to go safe this time. I have to go boring, and I have to go Richie Porte. I'm sorry, but I mean, in the end, it's a two-horse race in my mind. It's either Nibali or it's Richie Porte. You pick Nibali, I can't go Nibali, so I gotta go Richie Porte.
We've got the winner.
Yeah, most certainly. Although, I mean, it could happen that another Rafa Vowles happened, and who would that be? Who would be the dark horse?
Who have I got? I've got Brambilla as my dark horse.
Like it. I really do like it. He was gonna. I prepared him as my dark horse, but now that you took him, I'll look down my list and I'll look at Kudus. He's a dark horse. He's not. At the moment, he's not at his peak because he's very young, but he's got the potential to really one day become a quality climber. And if he has some of that form already here, top 5 is not out of reach. The Black Mountain. Oh, the Green Mountain, sorry.
We'll see.
On that note, guys, that's been the third preview of the evening. Next up of previews, I'm thinking, what could that... Is that Omloop and Köln, Brussels, Köln?
It will be Umloop, Köln versus Köln.
And it most likely will feature a special guest, so keep an eye out on social media to see if it will. But Omloop means that officially the season is starting, as the mainstream media would like to point out. But hey, for us, we've been doing this for, what, 7 weeks now? We've been previewing for 7 weeks, so the season already started for us at least. But I hope you enjoyed tonight's preview. Again, up here, there are annotations to go to the other 2 previews we've done tonight. I hope you enjoy it. I'd like to thank you guys for all the support you've given us so far, and hope to see more of that in the future. We got plenty of things lined up. Next 2 previews, Omloop and Köln Brussels Köln. Thank you very much for watching today's preview. Here in the end, I'd like to thank this month's friends of the show, and those are Los Brolin, Aaron Forks, Raymond Pinero, Aragonite, Marion Starkley, Cecil Fursch, Tish Tooling, Tommy Loppy, Sean Hurst, Wagnerus, Lucas, Kenneth, and Kenny. Thank you very much for your continued support of Cycling.tv. If you too want to become a friend of the show, go over to Cycling.tv/livestream, hit the donate button, and send us some love. All donations are highly appreciative. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time.